Hey everybody, I'm Andrew Farquhar, and this is the Snackable Marketing Podcast, where I give you compact but highly actionable and valuable tips that you can use right away to improve your business online. For today's topic, I'll be discussing how to use social media for your small business. In the last episode, I talked about the broad essentials every website needs in order to be a success, especially small business websites. So if you missed that recording, you should definitely go check it out. I came across an amazing statistic the other day from Forbes magazine. 50 million small businesses use Facebook business pages. That's huge. Promoting your business online is popular with businesses of all sizes, but particularly small businesses. And probably are doing Facebook business pages because they're relatively easy for a business to get set up pretty quickly. And it's not as abstract as something like a website. Or intimidating for the small business owner. So clearly using social media is really important for businesses of all sizes, but especially small businesses. It's something they can do themselves if they don't want to outsource it to somebody else. So to help small businesses succeed with their social media online, I'm going to be going over 5 essential characteristics that every small business should be using for their social media. So first of all, it's all about your customers. Who, where, when, what, and how. You need to know your customers very well. Make sure you can define your target customer and who they are, where and when they're online, what they like to talk about, how they feel about being engaged by brands. For instance, are they completely turned off by that idea, or are there specific ways that they would prefer to be engaged by with a brand? This is all really critical to success with your social media, and answering all of these questions accurately isn't easy. But once you have defined them, you can then begin to create a strategy that will lead towards achieving your business goals. There's a lot of different social networks out there, and each is unique in its own way. Some are better for teenagers, and others are better for business-oriented adults. So find out what ones your customers are using, and begin to create profiles and engage with them on those networks. Don't fall into the trap of joining every network. You'll be spread yourself too thin. So choose the top 3 or 4 maybe, and focus on those like a laser. Once you have your target customer defined and you've set up your social networks, it's time to start posting. But you want to make sure that you don't fall into the focusing on yourself trap. That's a big one, and it's a mistake that's easy to make. Remember, it's all about your customers, not you. Don't only talk about your specials or use your posts as like a makeshift version of an advertisement. Instead, be social and focus on your customers. Engage with them in fun and a more natural way, as opposed to being like really salesy. Comment on pictures they post of your business, or thank them when they leave a positive review. There's so many other ideas too, like running contests, giving out coupons, using your business to promote a great social cause like fighting cancer. But the point is, don't be salesy and don't focus on yourself. Actually, rarely talk about yourself or your own business, and engage naturally. It's called social media for a reason, and it's not a monologue. So now you've got your network set up and you're posting content and people love it, but you want to choose the right ways to measure success. Everyone's on social media. That includes your customers and your competitors. But how do you know if your efforts are being successful? That's easier said than done. Many focus on vanity statistics like how many followers you have. And that doesn't really matter if those followers are never doing anything of value, like engaging with your brand. But part of the reason people focus on vanity statistics, besides the fact that they're just easy to wrap your head around, is that defining something like how much money you're earning off of your social media activities can be difficult, depending on your business. Instead, try focusing on smaller incremental steps towards a conversion. So try setting goals like getting people to check in when they come into your business or leave a positive review when they're there. Followers and likes are great, and you definitely need them. But everything should lead towards bigger, more well-defined goals. And one more thing about KPIs, or key performance indicators, and analytics in general. I really like analytics. They can really help you put things together and see things in a new way, where you're making mistakes and how to optimize everything. But you don't necessarily need to get lost in the weeds, and it doesn't necessarily need to be super complicated and digital. You could just try doing several of the incremental steps like I suggested, and then over several months, just look to see if your bottom line has been increasing more than it normally would have. I know that's not really scientific, but it's certainly very easy to do. And we'll still give you some insight, as long as you're not doing anything else that's new, into whether or not your activities are benefiting your business. So at this point, you know who your customers are, where they're at. You've created social profiles there, and you're also engaging with them and really not focusing on yourself. You're focusing mainly on them. You've also got some analytics set up, or at least an idea of how to do that, and what kind of KPIs you'd like to shoot for, what kind of goals you want to shoot for. But you're also probably hitting a little bit of a wall in terms of progress. Every business is different, and yours may have a large following pretty quickly, right off the bat. And all social networks are free to use and to join, but you might want to invest some cash to help things move in the right direction more quickly. In the beginning, you'll start with 0 followers and 0 likes, and that's a tough place to start from. And even if you quickly grow in size, you may want to help pour some gasoline basically on the fire. And that comes in the form of pay-per-click ads. So for these, there's several different options depending on what kind of social site you're on. Some have different options than others. You can definitely take the non-tech approach and ask your customers when you're interacting with them in your business to follow you. You can also offer something in exchange, like telling them, we post things that you'll love, so you should follow us, that kind of thing. That kind of offering can go a long way, but you might want to take things further and faster. You can pay to be promoted to gain likes and followers. You can also pay to promote specific posts to a wider audience or send people to your website. So like I was saying, each platform has at least a few premium options available, and Facebook is definitely used the most, and they have the largest income from pay-per-click ads, I should say. They also have the ability to fine-tune who your paid ads or posts are shown to with incredible precision. That can take a long time. So that's where knowing who your customer is really comes in handy. It's actually kind of creepy about how well you can define the particular person you're trying to reach. I mean, with Facebook, they know whether or not you've just got out of a relationship, for instance. So that's something you can target for your ads, which is pretty amazing, but also a little creepy. But know who your customers are really well, and that's going to pay off big time for your ads if you decide to invest any cash into your social media efforts. And lastly, for the ads, it doesn't necessarily need to be a lot. I mean, some businesses might invest thousands of dollars a month, or you could just try $50 a month to give a little boost every now and then. It doesn't have to necessarily be a lot to see some return. So lastly, make sure that you're active on your social platforms. Social, like many other things online, is really more of a marathon and not a sprint. Commit to even modest usage every month. Having a half-completed page that hasn't been updated for 3 years isn't a positive endorsement for your brand. I know time is precious to every business owner, but completely abandoning your social presence is really a mistake. People are going to end up looking for you, and they're going to find those profiles, and it's not going to look good if they're not completed or they're obviously abandoned. So make sure you don't abandon them, but to really enjoy the benefits from your social networks, you're going to have to invest in them. Certainly time, maybe some cash. That being said, once they begin to mature, they can be incredibly powerful and valuable assets to your business. But it takes time. It takes time. So I'll leave with a little math. I'm not a huge math person, but I do like numbers and analytics because they're valuable and powerful. So here's a hypothetical scenario. Imagine you have 10,000 followers and 1% buys something you're offering, which costs $35. You just gained $3,500. And now imagine you can do that, say, 5 times a year. That's $17,500. 10,000 followers with a 1% click-through rate, conversion rate, is also not necessarily easy to achieve, but it illustrates the point that it's definitely possible and it can be very lucrative. But it will take time and certainly an investment on your part. So start today and be prepared for the long haul when it comes to social media. But keep at it and you'll soon begin to see some real returns. So those are 5 strategies small businesses can use for their social media presence. Social is huge and many businesses of all sizes are cashing in. Size doesn't necessarily matter for this medium. Well, what's important is your voice and your strategy. So know your customers, focus on them, be prepared to spend some money, know your KPIs, and make sure you stay active. So thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful. If you did, please share it with your network and definitely connect with me on LinkedIn or Twitter, where I post a bunch of articles, especially on Twitter. In the next episode, I'll be discussing how small businesses can cash in with videos. So until next time, thanks again for listening. I'm Andrew Farquhar.